Okay, welcome back. After a hiatus of 11 months, I am back to going ahead and continuing to put Masech Berachos on video. So we're holding Lamed Beis, Lamed Beis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines up from the bottom. So Yemil Shmona Esrei, I feel Hamelach Shoel B'Shlomo Lo Yeshivenu. Even if a melech asks, greets you, you should not answer him. Now, this Rabbi Yosef is going to qualify this. Lo Shanu, that you don't answer the Yemil Shmona Esrei, Elo Malchei Yisrael, only if it's speaking about Malchei Yisrael, the Jewish king. Aval Malchei Akum, who you're choishiv, if you don't ask him, he's going to kill you. Then Paisik, then you go ahead and you stop. So for Malach, this whole din of the Mishnah of not being Milosh Esrei, not stopping for a king, not answering is only when it's a Jewish king. Meisvei, Hamaspalo, Veroy, Anos, Boy Kenegdoi, someone's davening Shmona Esrei, and he sees an Anos, an oppressor, usually who takes money or whatnot. Or Ro Karim Boy Kenegdoi, he sees a wig coming at him, Loyhe Mafsik, you shouldn't go ahead and stop. El Makatzer, you should go ahead and make an abbreviated version. So it's a kasha, we say Malchei Yisrael, a Malchei Akum, you stop. It says over here, you Makatzer. You just shorten your Shmona Esrei. It says in Rolei Kasha, it's not fair. Hod Evshel Katzer, right? One is possible. Hod Lo Evshel Katzer. So Einochinami. If you can't be Makatzer, you're Mafsik. If you could be Makatzer, go ahead. That's preferable over being Mafsik, to go ahead and shorten your Shmona Esrei. There was a certain individual, a chassid, he was davening Shmona Esrei on the derech. Basar echad came along, a goyish sar, a person of high prominence. V'nasan shalom, and he greeted him. V'leihichsa shalom, he didn't answer him. Himtin, the person waited. Loi, actually assigned tefillah till he concluded his tefillah. Lachash assigned tefillah after the individual concluded his tefillah. Amalei. So the Sar said to the Chassid, Reika, you empty person. It's written in your Torah. So therefore, I know this person obviously knew something about the Torah. And it says in the Torah, you're supposed to watch yourself. So when I went ahead and greeted you, why didn't you answer after all? If I would have decapitated you, no one would have said anything. So you're endangering yourself. And it says, why didn't you answer? Real taina. Amalei said, what did the chassid say? Himtimli, wait, until I have a chance to appease you with words. Amalei, said the chassid, if you were standing in front of a flesh and blood king, and in the middle of your being in the presence of the king, came along your friend and greeted you, would you go ahead right and answer him? Amalei said, the Sar said live, no, I went up. And then the chassid continued. And if you would have answered the individual in the king's presence, what would they have done to you? So Amalei, the Sar said, I would have lost my head. So Amalei said the chassid, when you're standing in front of a flesh and blood king, who's here today and gone tomorrow, so if you would not have greeted in the hand of a flesh and blood king, why should I go ahead and be mafsik and greet in the hands of a melech malchei amlachim? Miyad nispayas, immediately Sar, that Sar was appeased. Korach alakvoy, and v'niftar chos lebeis l'shalom, and he went to his base in Shalom. There's interesting dialogue over here. An interesting dialogue, and we have the Taz in Shulchan Aruch, Siman Samech Vav Sifkat Aleph. He was wondering about the tshuva of this chassid. He says the Shar asked him, right, are you supposed to watch yourself? And what did he answer? Right? He told her, you could kill me. He said, he said, I could kill you. So what was he answering him? He asked that. Right? You're saying to me, in other words, how does it answer the question? I could have killed you. So the Taz explains that this chassid understood that these people, this Sar, would not kill without mishpat. In other words, sometimes they do, sometimes don't. He understood that this person wouldn't have killed him without judging him. And that was the lashon where he said, Himtimli, wait, until I'm fayis you with dvarim. Wait till I'm fayis with dvarim. So you see from his answer that what he would have the option to go ahead and plead his case, right? So therefore, that was unique about that. And it's a meduyik like that in the Lashon, because when the Gemara said above, Rabbi Yosef said a person should be mafsik even for a king, and the Khan Rabbi Yosef said that what? That's only Malchei Yisrael, but Malchei Umas Olam not. So says the Taz, why don't the Gemara say Pshita? Why don't the Gemara say Rabbi Pshita? It's Pashit. That what? The king is going to kill you, of course you're mafsik. So you see from this Gemara with the Maisa with the Sar that it's not so Pashit, that a king would not necessarily kill without first giving the person his day in court. So that would be a very nice hesper to this Gemara. Okay. Says the Gemara Vaita. Afilu nachash karach al akvoy layafsik. Even if you see a snake round around you, you shouldn't be mafsik in Shemona Esrei. Well, you have to go ahead. We'll qualify this in a second. Says the Gemara. Amarav Sheshes. Lo shanu that you're not mafsik el nachash if it's a snake. Aval akrav, it's a scorpion paisik. It seems the scorpions are more prone to go ahead and bite. Taisus brings out, he quotes you Shalmi, that if you see the nachash is fahitz, that he's also going to bite your mafsik. Okay, there's no reason to stand around. You got a poisonous snake, a venomous snake around, and you see it's fahitz, it's in a biting mood, then you get out of there. You don't go ahead and stand around there. Meisivei, you're telling me that that a snake won't bite? Nafal, if a person falls into a lion's den, there's no guarantee that even you didn't see what happened to him, you can't testify that he's dead. There's no guarantee. But if you find he fell into a pit that was full of snakes and scorpions, then you can go ahead and testify that he's going to die. So you see clearly that snakes will bite. So how can you tell me that the nachash you don't? You see over here, you fall in, you can testify the guy's dead because you guarantee the venomous snake is going to kill him. So it's more shiny hasam. It's different when they're in this close contained area. The agav itzitza maske. Since when you land upon them, right, they're going to go ahead and be fahitz because you're landing upon them, you're squashing them. Mashen kane, if you're in the open in the air and they're just slithering around, there's no guarantee. Mashen kane gavaroyas. I guess there was more room for the lions to move around. There's no guarantee you're going to fall on them when you come down. Rabbi Yitzchak, rosh shvorim, right? If you see shvarim, if you see an ox, right? If you see an ox that's coming towards you, then place it. You go ahead and stop it because a bull is going to get you. The Tanur Abayshia, machikim mishor tam chamishim amo. You distance yourself from a shore that's not gone ahead and classified as a gore yet, a tam. You go ahead and distance 50 amis, and mishor muid who's gored 3 times already, kimali einav as far as you can see because they're very dangerous. Tadamishmei the Reb Meir, Reish Tur b'dekula. Another sage piece of advice: if the head of the ox is it's in his bag that they go ahead and put the food in, and he's eating from his tevin, right? Solikle igra, go up to the roof, and go ahead and pull the ladder out. This definitely is a bull that you want to stay away from. Hamashmul, Hani Mili Bishar Shachar. That's only if it's a black ox. We may Nisan, and in the days of Nisan, where the fields are lush after the winter crop has flourished, the grass, and therefore, since the grass is around, the shore is out of his mind with this food. At this time of the year, the sun is literally dancing between his horns. In other words, the Rashbam in Pesachim Kufya Beis says that not that the sun's dancing, but in other words, he's crazy during these times. He's a little meshugah the ox. There was a Maisa with a certain arod. It seems to be some type of crossbreed of some type of venomous snake with a frog. I'm not exactly sure, but it's very, very dangerous creature. Okay, it's very, very dangerous creature. The hoyamasik es habriyos, and it was this arod was damaging people. So they came in, they told Reb Chanina ben Dosa, Amalahem, Herili Eschayre, go ahead and show me his schar is the hole where he's holding himself up. So Reu Eschayre, they showed him the hole. Nasen Akvay al Piachar, Reb Kiva Reb Chanina, he put his heel on the opening of the hole, and Yatsa Arid Vinashchai, the Arid came out and bit him. Well, Mesai Arid, and that Arid died right away. Now Rashi explains that if the Orid bites if the Orid gets to the water before the person does, then the person will die. But if the person gets to the water before the Orid does, then the person will live. Right? So what happened? A nest over here happened, and a Mayan opened up underneath Rav Chanina, and he was able to get to the water before the Orid did. So what happened? Natlu al Kseifa, Rav Chanina took this snake or this Orid and put him on his shoulders. Revealed based on Medrash. Amlahem Reubini Ein Orid Mamemis. It's not the Orid that kills, the other Chait Memis. Woe is to the person who meets up with this creature, the Orid. So Rashi again explains that if the person gets to the water first, then he's going to go ahead and live. If the Orid does, he's going to die. Masha asked the question: how is Rav Chanina permitted to go ahead and put himself in sakana? You're not in samchal on that you're going to live. And the Marsha brings the Yerushalmi that says he brings in the words of Nissen Goyin. The Maisa was not that he went and put his foot on the chor, like our Gemara says. But he was standing in davening when the Orid came and bit him, and a nest happened that a pool of water was created right there, and he beat the Orid to the water. And Talmidim asked him, right, you're so mechuvim b'tefillah, you didn't go ahead, and he said, "Shol Talmid of loy hagashta." You want to margish what happened? That his kavan was so great, Rav Chanina, that he didn't realize what happened. So Yerushalmi, it's very geschmack that Rav Chanina did not go ahead and place himself in danger. He didn't place himself in danger. Okay, says the Mishnah, Maskirin Gvuras Geshamim. You say Mashav Ruach Amurda Geshem, right? It's called Gvuras Geshamim because the Geshamim come down B'Gvura, Gemara and Tainus. B'Tchias HaMesim, you may mention the first bracha of Tchias HaMesim. B'Shala, and you say B'Sein Talamata, B'Berachos Hashanim, you say in the Berachos of the year where we daven for food. B'Havdalah, you say Havdalah, B'Choinen Adas, and the bracha what? Of Choinen Adas. Rabbi Kiva says, he's make a fourth bracha by itself. You don't say it in Atachayim, but you have another bracha of Havdalah. And the bracha would be between Choyin and Adas and make Atakadosh and Choyin and Adas. That's what Havdalah would be. It'd be early on in the Shemona Esrei, not later on. Between the bracha of Chaim Mason and Atakadosh and Kel Kodesh and Atachan and Tanu, you have a bracha by itself. That's Rabbi Akiva. So Tanakama, like we do in Atachan and Tanu, Rabbi Akiva, a fourth bracha by itself. And Rabbi Eliezer ben Hurkidis, Mohidah, you would say it what in Berachos HaMoedim. You'd say what in Berachos HaMoedim, exactly where Havdalah is. Okay, but everyone seems to agree. Maskirin Gvus Geshamim, the bracha of Tchias HaMesim. My timer, why do you mention the bracha of rain in Tchias HaMesim? Rabbi Yosef, Mitoich Shekluha Ketchias HaMesim, since the Yeridus of Geshamim is equal to Tchias HaMesim, because the world is judged by water, and it brings life to the world. That's the Ritva. The Fikach Kav with Tchias HaMesim, therefore they were Kaveya in Tchias HaMesim. And Rav Nissengoin says in the name of the Shalmi, just like Tchias HaMesim, Yechayim La'olam, Kach Yeridus of Geshamim Chayim La'olam. Okay, it's going to be forever. Sheila brachas at time in my time. Why do you say the bracha of the same bracha, same talamata, and the bracha brachas hashanim? Rabbi Yosef mitoichshli parnasa. Since the yidei geshamim, the bakasha for rain is for parnasa. The fikach kavu brachas parnasa, the bracha of brachas hashanim, which is the bracha parnasa. Now discussing Havdalah and Choyin Radas. Again, three shitas. First shita, you say it in Atachayim. Second shita, Rabbi Kiva bracha b'fnei atzlan between at the Kodesh and at the Chaynein, and in Berachos HaMoedim according to Rabbi Eliezer. If Dalta b'Choyin Adas my timer, Rabbi Yosef mitoich shehi chachma, since it's chachma between mavdol ben Kodesh l'chayil and ben tamei l'tahar, since it's mavdol between both these things. But Ben Yonis says that the Havdalah is between a person who understands the menucha of Shabbos and chayil. Seems to be an understanding of there. That takes chachma. The Therefore, we placed it right in the bracha of Chachma. About the b'chayna adas my timer. It's Chachma, right? Kavu b'chas Chachma. Rabbanan Amri mitoshi chayil. You know, it's since it's chayil. B'mavdim and kodesh chayil. The fikach kavu b'chas chayil. Again, the first three brachas Shemon Esrei are said during the week, and they said on Shabbos, they said on Yom Tov. It doesn't make a difference. The first bracha of that is vachadik, as we say, that's weekday, is at the chayning. So we have two pshatim. We have Yosef al Chachma, and the Rabbanan who say that what? It's the first bracha of Chos, the first chance you get to be mavdol. That's what you say it. Amar Rav Ami, G'dol Deya shenitla b'tchilas bracha shel chayil. How great is Deya? How great is understanding? Yeah. Is that it's put in the bracha, first bracha of chayil. The first bracha you have, in other words, the chance, the first bakasha you can make. Again, the first three brachas are praise Hakadosh Baruch Hu. The first bracha of bakasha is what is Fred Nadas. There's a Gemara in Avodah Zarah that says that you should be ma'irich if you want to remember your Torah. You want to tzlach in Torah. You should be ma'irich in the length and say the bracha of Fred Nadas with a lot of kavanah. Unfortunately, many of us just go ahead and go through it very quickly. But it's a bracha that they don't understand that why people don't spend more time on it. Again, a digression a little bit, since great is understanding, Ruach HaKodesh, Shnas Leben Shtei Yosiyos was put between two shemus of Hashem, Shnemar, Kikel Deus Hashem. So you see the word Deus, the understanding, is between Kel and Hashem. B'chol Mishaim by Deya, any person who doesn't goes ahead and does not, he's merachik from Deya, he distances himself from learning Torah. Also, Rachim Elav, person distances himself from learning Torah, you have no right to go ahead and have Rachmanis on him. You have no right to have Rachmanis on him, because what does it say? Pasuk in Yeshaya, Bivoish Ketzira Tishamarna, Noshim Boyas Meirais, Oisa Kiloi, Ambinaisu, Aken Layachamenu Aseu, Bioitsu Chaneo. So people, right? The people who don't go ahead and have and don't chase Torah, if the people don't go ahead and learn Torah. So the Radak in Yeshaya, he learns Pshat in the pasuk over here, right? He learns Pshat in the pasuk over here. Kiloi am binois hu, this Yisrael who don't discern why bad things are happening to them. They think it's mikra. They don't look into it. Since they're not going to look into why bad is happening to them, therefore Hashem says not going to have Rachmanas on you. Amar V'Lasa Gadol Migdash Shenitin Ben Shtei Oisios. Great rod is the base of Migdash. There's also a place between Oisios of Hashem. Shnemar Pa'alta Hashem Migdash Hashem Elikim. So you see Hashem Migdash Hashem. Amar V'Lasa Kol Adam Sheyesh Badeya. Any person who I guess pursues Torah. Kilu Nivna Beis Hamikdash B'Yamav. It's like the Beis Hamikdash was built in his days. Deya nitna ben shtei yosiyos, because after all, Deya was placed between two yosiyos. A migdash nasa ben shtei yosiyos. A migdash was. Maskar Avacha Karchina from the town of Karchina. El Miyata, you're telling me anything that's placed between two shemis of Hashem is a positive. Gedoyla in the kama, then therefore that it should be in the kama. Taking revenge is great. Shnitna ben shtei yosiyos. Shnemar kel nekamas Hashem kel nekamas Afiyah. Samalei Reb Lazar said to Avacha Karchina. And it's a good thing. In Wilson, the place of Nakama, Mia Gedoyla. Taka is a big thing. You find David took revenge for what happened to death of Shaul. So that he took revenge from Yoav, what he did to Avshalom, what he did to this king. I forgot the name of this king. And that's better. Okay. Vahainu Amasa. Behind the Amar Ula, Shteina Kamas Alalu, Lama, what do you tell the Kamas Hashem, tell the Kamas Lafia? Achas, one of them is the Toiva, one is the Toiva, right? The Achas, and one is Lara. The Toiva, the Siv, I fear me haparoin. That Kadosh Baruch Hu was my fear me haparoin. He came back from asking Gold Umas Oilam that what he wanted Torah from, and therefore he was mafkid in money, so it was good for us, he was mafkid in money. And Lara, it says, Siv, Kel the Kamas Hashem, Kel the Kamas Lafia. Rabbi Kiva said, you said the bracha of Havdalah again is a bracha by itself. Between what? Between between the Ata Kadosh and between Ata Chayne. Amal Shamin bar Abel Rabbi Yochanan. Right? What's the machloikas over here? Michte. Anshe Knesset Gedola Tiknul Hem Yisrael Berachos Tfilas Kedushos Havdalos. The matbeya of the nusach of Shmona Esrei was handed down to us from the Anshe Knesset Gedola, the list of the Malachim Zechariah, Malachi, the list of the great Nevi'im. So what's this machloikas Tanoim? L'chayru we should have b'misoira. We should have exactly where Atochanim was. What, like Rabbi Eliezer in Moedim, like Rabbi Akiva B'fnei Atzmai, or like Tanakama in Atochanim. So we're missing this. So go ahead and Nichsi Hechen Tikin, go see exactly where it was mitakenet. So Amalei, so Rabbi Yochanan told Rav Shlomo bar Abba the following. Initially, the takana was when they came from the Gullus and they were very poor and they didn't have what, they didn't have wine to make a ticket. They didn't go ahead what and make Havdalah on wine because they didn't have any. Kavu b'tfilah, they went ahead and did kaveh b'tfilah. So at that period of time, you knew exactly where it was. He'eshiru, but once they got more affluent, and they were able to go ahead and have wine and make Havdalah on wine, then kavu ala kais. They were kaveh on a kais, and they left Shmona Esrei. So therefore, at this period in time, they hadn't said it for a long period. They hadn't said Havdalah at the Chayne in Atachanatana. They hadn't said it what in Shmona Esrei. And guess what? It was forgotten. Knew they got poor again and they didn't have wine. Chazu kaveh b'tfilah, they put it there. But at this point in time, it had been forgotten. The Hein Amru Hamavdal b'tfilah tzarich she'avdal l'kais. And now they even said if you say in tefillah, you have to say on the kais. But the problem was that since that there was a period of time where after Anshe Knesset had been mitakenet, it wasn't in use. So it wasn't in use; it was forgotten. And you have the three machloikas in the Tanakama, Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Eliezer. Itmanami, like Rabbi Yochanan told Rav Shamin bar Abba, Rav Chia bar Abba, Rabbi Yochanan. Anshe Knesset Gedola Tiknum Yisrael Becha Tfilas Kedushas Avdalos B'Tchila Kavu B'Tfila Heshiru Kavu Lakais Chazru Behenu Kavu B'Tfila Veinoimim Hamavdal B'Tfila Tzarich Sheyavdal Lakais. They said the one who's Mavdal Tfila has to go ahead and be Mavdal on the Kais. Itmanami, a Brisa also. It was learned also right. Itmanami, I guess Amarayim. Rabbi Yosef and Shabayu Mavdal B'Tfila Tzarich Sheyavdal Lakais. So Amar Rabba. And it's shver that we have to say it on a kais after in Antfila is shver on the sugya we have. So you have to say it in both in Shmona Esrei and on a kais. So on that, if you can ask the following question: if you make a mistake and they don't mention Mashav Ruach Amar Geshem in the bracha Tchias HaMeisim, B'Sheila b'Berachos Hashanim, you don't say the same Talamato bracha in the Berachos Hashanim. Machzir, so you return to the beginning of Shmona Esrei. However, Havdalah b'Chorin Adas, if you make a mistake and you don't say Atachon Tanu in the bracha of Chorin Adas, ein machzir, so you don't go ahead and repeat Shmona Esrei. Mifnei sheyachal lo yimar l'kais, because the possibility exists to say it on a kais. Now it's mashma over here. You could say it on a kais, not that you have to say it on a kais. Again, the sugya was that Rabbah and Rabbi Yosef concluded that the third takana was that you say it in both. Mashma over here, you only say it in davening, and if you forget, then you can make it up on a kais, but not that you have to. That's the kasha. That the answer is don't read it as because you're able to say it in the kais. Because you say it on the kais. Not that you're able to, but you will say it on the kais. Since you'll say it on the kais, it's unnecessary to go ahead and make it up in Atachan and Tanam. Itmanami Amar Binyamin Bayefesh Shol Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yochanan B'Tzidon Be'Imila Rabbi Shimon Ben Yaakov D'Min Sur Es Rabbi Yochanan Ba'anosh Shamis I Rabbi Binyamin heard Kishol Shol one of Rabbi Yochanan Hamavda B'Tfilah Tzarich She'Yavdal L'Kais Eloi V'Amalei Rabbi Yochanan told him Tzarich She'Yavdal L'Kais you have to. So even though they attacking the Tfilah, right? So Rabbi Yochanan corroborated Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef that not only if you have to say it on Shemon Esrei, but you have to say it on Kais as well. Let's say the opposite. Let's say you said Avdol on the Kais before you daven, right? It's nightfall, and before you daven, you said it. You have to say it in Tefillah. Maushi Avdol but Tefillah. So I'm Rav Nachman by Yitzchak. Says Rav Nachman by Yitzchak, Kal v'chaymer, it's Kal v'chaymer mitfila. Umat tefillah shmon esrei. The ikatakana who? It's the ikatakana. It's Amri. We said Hamavda b'fila tzarich shi'adla alakois. Hamavda alakois. The lav ikatakana he like kol shekain that you would have to go ahead and say it in davening. Okay, and say it in davening. Rav Acha Aricha Kamed Rav Chinena, right? Rav Acha Aricha tall from Rav Chinena. Hamavda b'tefila meshubach yoisem misha yavdal alakois. Someone who's mavdal in tefila is better than his mavdal alakois. And hivdal bezu ubezu yonuchaloi brachas al roishay. Shabbat a bracha should go ahead and reach. So Tani Racha Aricha Kamed Rav Chinena Hamavda b'tefila meshubach yoisem misha yavdal alakois. So it's mashma clearly that it's better to daven in Shmon Esrei. That's better than on a kais. And hivdal bezu. But if you go ahead and be mavl on both of them, you nuchalei brachas al roisha. You should have a broader bracha should go ahead and be on your head. The Gemara says hagufa kasha. That itself is shver. Minei ubei you have a shverkeit within the words of Rav Acha in front of Rav Chinena. Amit you said one hand zamavdal b'tefila meshubach yosem misham aval kois. Mashma that what you'll only have to say it in the davening. Alma tefila lechude sagi. Tefila alone is enough. But hadatani im hivdal bezu ubezu. But if you do both, you know like brachas al then it's better, even better. Read the Gemara. The kivin in nafak le bechada iftar. Once you go ahead and you would be yaitza with your chi of havdalah with the tefila, and especially it's even better. Then you're going to go ahead and say it on a kais. That bracha that you're making on the kais is not necessary. You already said a meshubach dechavdallah when you went ahead and were mafl and davening. Why would in the world would you have to go ahead and make it on a kais again? And first you said it's better, and then you said bezu yeniach bracha roishay. Ravi Tamer Reish Lakish. V'imri lo Rabbi Yochanan and Reish Lakish. Nami Shavai. Kol mevarich bracha shen etzricha. Chas v'shalom oivim mishum le'sisa Shem elkem l'shav. So l'chayre. What's the words? What did Rav Acha? How do you explain what Rav Acha Aricha said in front of Reb Chinena? Elei mahachi. Here's what you have to say. Maybe it was a corrupt brisa. Im hivdal bezu. If you're mavdal in tefillah, v'lei hivdal bezu, and you're not mavdal what in on a kais, because after all, the one in tefillah is better. Yenuchlei brachas al roishay. Then you'll have brachas on your head. So in other words, this is going to the daya that if you make. We've been saying till now you have to do both. This is the day that no, if you do it in davening, you don't have to do it on the kais afterwards. Boy, meaning Rav Chisna, Rav Sheshes, to bezu ubezu. What happens if you don't make Havdalah not on the kais and not on davening, not on the kais, and you eat before you made Havdalah? But that's the Rabbeinu Yonah learns. Amalei to bezu bezu chayzel roish. You have to go back and daven again. You can't say him that he has to daven again, right? And therefore, why you also would have to be mavul on the kais. What's the halacha? If you mavdil b'tefillah, do you have to be mavdil on the kais or not? After all, you have so many different days. We have the Rabbi of Rabbi Yosef, we have the day of Rabbi Yochanan, we have the day of Acha Aricha Kamed Reb Chinena. Amalei, so Rabbi said the din is ki kiddush. It's just like kiddush. The din of Avdal is just like kiddush. Ma kiddush. Af agav the mekadesh b'tzilusa. Even though you were yotzi chiyuv of kiddush in Shmon Esrei, nonetheless mekadesh akasa when you get home you make on a kais, right? So too af havdalah nami af agav the mavdal b'tzilusa. Even though you made on Shmon Esrei mavdal akasa, you make what? Make havdalah on a kais, and that's the halacha. We do say it in Shmon Esrei and we do say it on a kais. It's a very interesting Magen Avram in Siman Reish Ayin Aleph says Kohen Aleph. That's the halachas of kiddush. He says from this Gemara you learn a big yisoid that a person's yotzei is chiyuv the raisa of kiddush with his tefillah, with the Kaddish Yisrael, with the bracha that he makes in the middle of Shemon Esrei. Friday night is yotzei chiyuv. I had a Gemara in Psachim. It goes ahead and gets a source for kiddush. That's only that zacha you should remember on yayin, but the chiyuv of kiddush you were yotzei with your davening. Zachrei al yayin is only the rabbanan. Rabbi Eliezer said b'hida. So we had three machlokas Tanakama and Atachaynein. We had Rabbi Akiva, a bracha of Atzmai, and Rabbi Eliezer said what in the bracha of Haida. It says Gemara, Rabbi Seira Havi Rochav Chamra. Rabbi Seira was going ahead, he was riding on a donkey. Havikashakal Vazal Reb Chia bar Ovin Basrei. Reb Chia bar Ovin was going after Reb Zera. And Amalei, Reb Chia said to Reb Zera, Vaday dam Misay Mishmeid Reb Yochanan. Is it correct what they said in the name of what that you said in the name of Reb Yochanan? You, Reb Zera, said in the name of Reb Yochanan. Halacha Reb Eliezer b'Yom Tov Shechal Yisach Shabbos. Is halacha like Reb Eliezer that the Yom Tov falls out after Shabbos, and you're not going to say the Vachad Shemona Esrei. When are you going to say Havdalah? You're going to say L'chayre in Maidim. This is true. Reb Chia bar Ovin, yes, Reb Zera, is it true what you said there, Rabbi Yochanan, that on that situation where you can say a Yom Tov Tikkush Shemona Esrei, you don't have the bracha of Atachaynein, that you would say it right in Maidim. So Fred the Gemara halacha mechal de pligi. When it says that halacha is like that, is there anyone who argues on that? Well, who argues on that? Who argues on Rabbi Eliezer that after Shemona Esrei on Yantif? So like pligi, what are you talking about? Well, pligi Rabbanan. The Rabbanan said they argue. They said you say not the Tanu. And for the Gemara, the obvious answer, aim at the pligi Rabbanan b'Shai Yibas Hashanah. That's during the rest of the year where you have the bracha of Atachaynein. Shabbos be pligi. They wouldn't argue. There is no other place. So you say it in Maidim. The Gemara pligi Rabbi Akiva says you make a bracha b'fnei atzmai. And the Gemara to kol Hashanah kula avdina Rabbi Akiva the hashna nekav and nevekavase. What's your kasha that Rabbi Akiva argues? We never do like Rabbi Akiva. The whole year we don't do it like Rabbi Akiva, and therefore, just like we don't like doing during the year where it's a vachad Shemona Esrei, you're not going to do like him in where it's a what? It's a Yom Tov Shemona Esrei. We're not going to do it. Kol Hashanah kula my time of avdina Rabbi Akiva. The tamei sari tikkun tishrei loy tikkun. 18 brachas, not 19 brachas. Of course, we have 19 brachas because of Malam Hashinim, but before that, not Shev Tikkun. So also over here by Yontif, Shev Tikkun, Tamilay Tikkun. Only the three first brachas, the three last brachas, and the bracha in the middle of a Kedushas Yontif. So l'chayra, you're not going to do like that. So Amalei Reb Zera told Reb Chia, Lav halacha itman, Ela matin itman. Reb Zera told Reb Chia, not halacha, Ela matin itman. So it behooves us to see Rashi over here. Rashi tells us that there are different lashonis and exactly what they mean. So Rashi dibra maskol halacha, and we have says the Gemara halacha mandiyam halacha darshina loy bepirkin halacha. If you're going to darshan it openly, mandiyam matin, the one that says lashon matin, medrash loy darshina berabim. You're not going to darshan it berabim. If they would ask you, you would go ahead and do it. In other words, you wouldn't say barabim that the halacha is like Rabbi Eliezer when it comes to what Yantif that falls out after the Yantif falls out after Shabbos. But matin, if the guy asks you privately, you wouldn't say barabim. You tell him privately. Umandom and nirin. What is nirin? The difference between nirin. A rui nami l'amrin. You won't tell it to a yachid. However, if the yachid would do himself. You won't go ahead and tell him to go back. So that's the difference. Halacha means it's public, you're going to pronounce it, publicize it. Matin means you won't publicize it, but if the Yachid asks you, you'll tell him. And Nirin means you won't tell him anything, but if he does it, then you'll go ahead and if he does it, you will go ahead about it and not tell him to go back. Says the Gemara. So said Rabbi Zera to Reb Chia, Lav halacha itmar, not that halacha that would publicize it. Elamatin itmar, you lost the lamatin. Itmar, Rabbi Yitzchak bar Avdim Yama Mishum Rabbeinu, with the name of Rav. Halacha like the halacha like Rabbi Eliezer, and that the halacha is that he dashed publicly that in the Shemona Esrei of Yom Tov that follows Shabbos, then you're going to go ahead and say, or he said Barabim, you're going to say like Rabbi Eliezer. The Imri others say Matin. They just told him privately. Rabbi Yochanan says that they were moedim. Rabbi Eliezer b'yontif shchal achar Shabbos. Rabbi Chia bar Abba aman nirin. He said the lashon of nirin. Moedim means moedim chacham Rabbi Eliezer b'yontif shchal yosef of Shabbos. That there is no machloikus over there. The moedim. Am Rabbi Zera nokit Rabbi Chia bar Abba b'yotcha. Take the words of Rabbi Chia take the words of Rabbi Chia bar Abba b'yotcha as to what Rabbi Yochanan said, that he said nirin, right? The daik v'gam shmaitim ipuma the marashape. He was very medayik to hear what Rabbi Yochanan said. It's very interesting. You find throughout Shas Ravin came up from Eretz Yisrael, said the name Rabbi Yochanan. Rav Avin, Ravin, Rav Ami came up. They came up to Babel. They said the name Rabbi Yochanan, and it's along the way. It's a question Rabbi Yochanan said. So here's another Gemara that again Rabbi Yochanan. What exactly did he say? Did he say halacha? Did he say matin? Did he say nirin? And Rav Chia bar Ravin is a very philestical source, a worthwhile source to be trusted. He knew exactly what Rabbi Yochanan said. That's what Rabbi was saying. And he was kirachba de Pumpadisa, like Rachba, who was medayik after the lashon of his Rebbe Pumpadisa, so too was a b'chia medayik in lashon Rabbi Yochanan. Lama Rachba, Lama Rabbi Yehuda, Harabayas, an example of himat being medayik in the lashon. Harabayas stoya kafalhaya. Harabayas, they had different like balconies surrounding it in a shape. It's one balcony within another balcony, and he learned the lashon of stayoi rather than it's. But since Rabbi Yochanan used the lashon of stayoi, even though the Mishnah used the lashon of itztaba, like a stand, you see that he's very medayik his lashon. I'm Rabbi Yosef. I don't know with halachas like Rabbi Eliezer when you go ahead and wait to Shabbos, it goes into Yontif following it. But lo hayadana, I don't know the lashon of matin. Ella, I know one thing. I love me the Rav Shmuel Yadana. I know what Rav Shmuel said. What did Rav Shmuel do? That the kinaloi magnisa in Bavel they were metaking a beautiful pearl, a beautiful lashon of atachanatanu that you would say what only when just like atachanatanu is said from Shabbos to Choil, atoidienu is said from Shabbos to Yontif. Atienu Hashem Elokeinu es mishtei tzikecha v'tamdinu latzasuv v'tzanecha v'tanchlinu zmanei sosen b'chag and nedava. Right, that's the remes to the Shtei Golyos. It's only mig of our saint who says the Rashbam. Tereshenu kedusha Shabbos v'kabed but moyed chagigos haregel ben kedusha Shabbos lekdusha Yontif Talta. Yichem Yeshvi Mishesh Meyamas Kidash Devatu Kidash Al Choysom Tsecha V'Titan Lanu. That's the lashon that he used. Says the Mishnah. Oimer, a guy says in his tefillah, Al kan sipa yagiu rachamecha, and the kan sipa should reach your rachmanis, mishaskin, tell him to be quiet. Bal toiv yiska shmecha, on good your name should be mentioned, tell mishaskin say, tell him to be quiet. Moedim, he says that's twice, mishaskin say, tell him to be quiet. Okay, let's see Rashi in the Mishnah. Oimer, b'tfilah say, Al kan sipa yagiu rachamecha, Anoshim shoyemarin atzmon kimiskavnim lahamik beloshen tachnunim. They looked delve into the lashon of supplication. V'oimim rachmum v'chananata Hashem you are racham v'chanan ya kan sipor yagir rachamecha. And on a kan sipor your rachmanis should reach. Why? How do you see that your kan sipor reached on rachmanis? Shemata l'shalechas ha'im. You said to go ahead before tikachas habonim. You sent away what the mother. Shomer al toiv shata oiseh lanu. Yaska Shemecha, on good your name should be mentioned. Okay, that's what he said. So now the Rambam has a very interesting lesson. Rambam says that, and in Pirush HaMishnayos, that anyone who says just like you have Rachmanis on the Kansipa, you should have Rachmanis on us. Mishas going to say, tell him to be quiet. So now the Gemara is going to go into each one of the Lashonos. What exactly? Why do you tell him to be quiet? It says the Gemara, Bishleim Moedim, Mishas can I say, tell him to be quiet, Mishum Michsek Shtei B'Shuyos. It's looked like there's two deities, like he's davening Moedim to one God and Moedim to another God. Leilena, be quiet. Bial Toiv Yiska Shemecha, on good your name should be mentioned. The inferences Mashma al HaToiv of Le'al HaRa. And V'tanan Chai Vodin Levarech al HaRa, Shem Shevarech al HaToiv. We say the bracha of Baruch Dayan Emes. So therefore it's clearly why Moedim say to be quiet, and why Yiska Shemecha on good your name should be mentioned, we tell him to be quiet. However, El Kansipa Yiga my time, what's the reason? Let's go with the Rambam's Pshat. So when you tell guy says you should have Rachmanis on me like you have Rachmanis on the birds, right? Pligi ba Treyamaroi b'Marava, Rabbi Yossi b'Rava, Rabbi Yossi b'Zavida, Chanam mefnei Shematel Kina b'Maisa Berachos. You only have Rachmanis on birds, you don't have Rachmanis on anything else. Says Rashi, you're making the mitzvahs of Hashem what? Into Rachmanis. And the only midois, says Rashi, midoisav, mitzvahsav. But who loyal rachman masa? Hashem gives us a mitzvah, it's not for the purpose of Rachmanis. El hatal al Yisrael, chukei gezeiroisav. The purpose is to go ahead and place on Yisrael his gezeris. L'haidia, to perform sheheim avodav. We should perform them because we are his servants. Not because we understand it, but because we are your servants. And as a result, we keep his mitzvahs, even the Umas Ha'olam say, why do you have to do this? It don't make a difference. The reason we do it, why? Is because Hashem tells us to do it. So this is one of my biggest sides in the way I've lived my life. There's right versus nice. Right versus nice. I was in girls' chinuch for many years, and you ask a girl, why don't they kill? Why don't you kill? Why don't you kill it? How can I kill? It's not nice to kill. How can I do this? It's not nice. How can I? It's not nice. It's not nice. We're speaking Lashon Hara. Well, it's not nice. And guess what? What happens in a place where it is nice? A person gets angry enough. A person does something that you would murder the person, right? Anytime you could do something, you could do it for. I can turn anything that's nice into right. We serve Hashem because it's the right thing to do, not because it's the nice thing to do. Now, it doesn't necessarily, very often, nice and right are synonymous. They coexist. But a person has to know that I serve Hashem because it's the right thing to do. I serve Hashem because these are the midas of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave us midas. Says the Rambam in the Pirush HaMishnayos. You think the reason you have Rachmanis is sending away the mother bird to shech the kids? Don't shech the kids. If you want a Rachmanis, don't shech anything. Leave the mother alone. If it's Rachmanis, leave the mother with her chicks. Don't go ahead and send away anything. What are you doing? What are you doing? Elohim has nothing to do with that whatsoever. This is the Shittas Rambam. It has nothing to do with it whatsoever. It's a midah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Even in a place over here, apparently you would think it has to Rachmanis. It has nothing to do with Rachmanis. The midah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Gezerah, says Rashi, we do it because Hashem tells us to do it. There's a Gemara in Kuf Tes, in Chulin. The Gemara gives us the Marsha quotes it over here. The Marsha says something fascinating. The Gemara there says everything that what Hashem asid, he mated. He asid dam, you could eat kaved, liver. He asid the eyasid basar chalav, you could eat kachal. He asid eshasish, he goes the grush b'chayi which gets divorced. He goes, he asid the pig, is the meichadish shivuta. There's a fish, you eat the moichet, tastes just like pig. In other words, what's he showing you? The reason you don't eat pig, the reason you don't do this, the reason you don't blood is not because it's something it's not good for you, it's not because you don't understand it. Because again, we have a synonymous thing that equalizes it. So it's nothing to do with it's Michael Isuris because Hashem made it Michael Isuris. That's it. That's it. Hashem made it that way. It's a big yisayt. It's a big yisayt. Huge yisayt. The Seres Adibris was stated, right? It was stated all at once and then separately. When it said it all at once, no one can possibly understand it. Why in the world did HaKadosh Baruch Hu do it that way? Right? Why did he do it? Why do you have to go and say that we could understand it? And then specifically, and he said, it's very good. Because he said specifically, you would think that what? You understand every reason behind it. And the answer is no. Just like you didn't understand it when he said it all together at the same time, so too you didn't understand it when he said it simply at different times. Why? Because it's Gezerus HaMelech. It's not something that good. Hashem lets you look into time and mitzvahs. It's very geschmack and everything. That's the best thing to do, look in time and mitzvahs. The bottom line is that what? You do it because Hashem tells you to do it. And really, in the mission of Yehuda and Tema, the first thing in Masechta Avos, Aviyos Kanemer, you should be, right? Ratz Kasvi, Gibu Kari, Us Kanemer, be bold like a leopard. What is it, bold like a leopard? So if you look at a leopard weighs 125 pounds. A lion weighs twice as much, or sometimes 3 times, 4 times as much. And the leopard will fight to keep its food. It says a chutzpah. Says the Torah. That says the Maral. I think the Maral. A person has to have the chutzpah when the Yetzer Hara is telling him to do a mitzvah because he understands it or doesn't understand it. You're doing it anyway. It's nothing to do. So therefore, us kanemer is before it's an understanding. Before you ratz katzvi gibu karit in the performance of the mitzvah, you have to understand the philosophy behind the Mishnah. Us kanemer. When it comes to avodas Hashem, you have to have the ability, the boldness of a leopard, and not give in to the Yetzer Hara telling you, oh, this one you understand, this one you don't understand. I'll do this one. Or else, your whole avodas Hashem will be subject to you what you want. Once it's Gezerus HaMelech, it's midas of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's not subject to what you want. It's what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants. This is a huge yesod, this Mishnah. Okay, let's see the Gemara on this Mishnah. Says the Gemara. Going over it again. El al kan sipo yagir rachamecha my timer. Plig bat shem roiv marava Rabbi Yosef Ravin Rabbi Yosef Zvida Chanum b'fnei shematul kinah b'ma'aser Berachos, and therefore you can have kinah between the birds and everything else. You're making it to Rachmanis, making it to something that's nice. Says the Gemara. Right? A guy went the Rabbi. A person went down to daven the Yom in front of Rabbi. Again, Nachas Kamedi went down and Shemal Mimakim. Pull out from the depths of the place that the tefillah was usually down. You had Rachmanis on Kansipor. Atachoim v'rachim aleinu. You should have Rachmanis on us. Wow, how wonderful you see that this person that can daven to Kodesh Baruch Hu. Abaya said Abaya to Rabbi, his uncle. The Mishnah says you should go ahead and be quiet. Rabbi was a young person, Abaya, and Rabbi wanted to go ahead and just be sharpen his wit to make sure he knew what's going on, and therefore he said this. Rab Chanina, person went down in front of Rab Chanina, Amar, Hakel, Hagodl, Hagiba, Vanoira, Va'adir, Va'azus, Va'yiroi, Va'chozek, Va'amitz, Va'avadai, Va'nichbad, Himtlo Yatsayim. So Rab Chanina wait till he finished it. And Kisayim Amlei, Samtinu, Lekule, Shvachi, Demarach. Did you conclude and go ahead and say all the Shvach of HaKadosh Baruch Hu? Lama Lekuli Hai. Anon Hani Tlas Daminon, Akel, Hagodl, Akel Agadol Hagiba Vanoira, Gadol Diva Vanoira, Akel Agadol Giva Vanoira. He loved Aminu Moshe Rabbeinu. If Moshe did not say it in Parshas Ekev, V'Araisa, V'Asi Anshe Knesset Gadola, V'Tiknua B'Tfila, Loi Havina Yichalon L'Meimelahu. The reason we say Akel Agadol Vanoira is because Moshe said it. So if Moshe was given, and we know that Moshe Rabbeinu was given the Torah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, so therefore this is what HaKadosh Baruch Hu said we should write down, and therefore this is what we write down. But if not for that, we'd be limited. We have Amit Kule Hai Basel, like you going ahead and saying like it's enough. Could you go ahead and explain like in Nishbas all the brachas, all the praise of Hashem? We could not. We'd be limited. So Marshal Melch Basadam. It's must do Melch Basadam. Shloilo Elef Alfi Elef Dinar. He had tens of thousands of watt of dinars of. By Makalson Slebishal Kesef. Oh, you know why? He has a bunch of silver. But the Ganai Huloy, big Ganai him, the Kodesh Baruch Hu, you can go ahead and say all these things you said. That's nothing. Again, the Kel Gal Nero only because the Moshe Rabbeinu said it, and Hashem told him to say that. Another dinner Rabbi Chanina, Hakol B'dei Shemayim Chutz Meir Shemayim. Everything what is Kol B'dei Shemayim Chutz Meir Shemayim. So I guess we'll stop over here. We'll get into that in the next daf. Okay, everyone have a great day.